This is Tony, and before we take a look at these amazing images of these extraterrestrial spacecraft and these humanoid looking extraterrestrials, I did check the phone that they were taken with and also check the time and date stamps. So these images are authentic. Now, here's the explanation on how I obtained these images. In the later part of 2020, I was having a general conversation with a new associate. Her name was Catherine. As the conversation progressed, she told me that her previous job was working at a chemical plant at night, and that when she first started working there, she noticed that these strange lights began to appear, and then she started seeing what looked like spacecraft that were hanging out around the plant, above the plant, and sometimes she would see them hiding in the clouds, and that there was even nights when the sky was clear that suddenly these square looking clouds would appear, and she told me that she already knew that they probably were those spacecraft disguising themselves as clouds. So I asked her, did she have any pictures? And she goes, yeah, I've got a lot of pictures, probably over 200 pictures that are in my old phone, which isn't working, but she had some pictures in her newer phone. And these pictures were taken the night that the plant was trying to go critical, which means the operators had problems controlling the heat and the pressures during the process of these chemicals. So the plant operators started their emergency procedures, and the first thing they did is they turned on the emergency cooling system, which wasn't working, and they tried other procedures and it wasn't working either. So one of the operators decides to walk through the plant and see if he can see anything that was causing this problem. And the first thing he noticed was that bolts were pulled out of some of the flanges and they were scattered around on the floor. So once the operator completed his tour through the plant, which he didn't see anything else out of the uh, ordinary, he returned to the control room. Then he asked Catherine to go through and start taking pictures and see if there would be anything show up in these pictures that would cause this problem. Catherine told me as she entered the plant that she turned on her digital night vision camera on her phone and started taking random pictures. And as she began to take these pictures, she noticed what looked like people showing up in these pictures. She said she couldn't see them only when she was using her night vision. Then she realized that these people had to be coming from these spacecraft that she had been seeing around the plant, which means if they were cloaked, then there had to be a spacecraft close by that also was cloaked. Now, I'm going to end the story here because Catherine is going to come on for an interview in the next few weeks, and she's going to give a detailed description of what happened that night when the plant was going critical. So now we're going to look at these amazing images of these fleet of extraterrestrial spacecrafts that showed up that night. And also with these humanoid looking extraterrestrials, what we call the Greys were also traveling with them in their spacecraft. So now let's take a look at these images and I'll explain to you what we're looking at. The night that these crafts showed up, they did show up in a fleet. There was multiple crafts out there. This craft here is what I call the cargo ship because there's a bay door open, and there also has been some talk within the plant that specific chemicals have been missing out of the plant or stolen. They didn't know really what happened to them. So now they keep them in a concrete building with a metal door on them. So now I'm going to do an enhancement and bring this craft in closer. So give me just a second here. Okay, we'll stop at this one, and you can see that looks like a bay door, and you can see that looks like the bay door is pulled back to receive whatever. And it's probably some of the chemicals that they were talking about that was missing out of the plant. Of course, like I say, this is speculation. We don't know exactly their purpose of being in the plant. And also, this craft has some type of looks like some type of attachment that maybe attaches itself to a larger craft to unload whatever they're putting in this cargo bay here. And I'm going to enlarge it one more time before I go to the next one. It's really amazing looking. You can really see the cargo bay, how it's folded back right here. This is the craft that we just looked at. Then right after she took this picture, these other two crafts showed up. So she walks and changes her position to take a picture of these two. And in this craft right here is a gray, and he's producing what looks like a holograph, and he's giving her a greeting or acknowledging to her that he sees her. Now this is going to take a few seconds to process, but hang on. Okay, you can start to see him right here. Now, she initially did not see him in this image till she got home and she was able to enlarge it. Then she realized what happened. Okay, so I took multiple shots to clear this up, and you're going to notice that he's holding his hand as looks like a peaceful gesture. And he also has a glove on. And then over here, I wasn't able to clean this image up enough to find out what this is, but it looks like another type of species of extraterrestrial. So I'm going to go ahead and enhance these, and I did take multiple shots. Too bad this wasn't clear enough so we could see directly into the craft. Here's a pretty good image. Now you can see the glove. and that will be the final shot. Okay, let's go to the next image. Now back here is where we looked at the other craft, and this one came closer, but it was camouflaged to look like a cloud. And then I'm going to bring it in. It looks like they're doing it with some type of hologram to me. Now, this image, I broke it up into two parts. Here's one of those crafts that's camouflaging itself like a cloud. And then we're going to go to the other one that's hidden in the clouds. And it's right here. And so now I'm going to start enhancing it. And this one here is larger than the plant itself, and you'll see that in just a second. You'll notice right here, there's these extensions coming off this craft. They go all the way around, but you can definitely see these two here, and you can barely see this one. Now remember, Catherine was taking random shots where she didn't see anything, and this is one of the crafts that showed up. This one is the one that you just looked at that was round and that was hiding in the clouds that had those protrusions or those structures coming off on the side of it here. Now I'm going to show how large this one is. Here it is. Continue to descend. And then here it is over the plant. That's how huge it is. Unbelievable. After she took these images, she was heading back to one of the offices and she noticed this craft here. So I'm going to enlarge it, and it is a horseshoe shaped craft. Now, in this image, this is when Catherine got off of work and she was pulling up to get gas for her car, and she noticed that one of those crafts were following her, which is right here. Now I'm going to do a close-up. The craft continued to follow her to her house, and then it left. After Catherine got home, she started going through the pictures that she had taken, and she noticed that there was like 70 of these same pictures in her phone, and she didn't put them there. So apparently they put them in there, and it looks like the grays. And she doesn't, of course, she doesn't know, and I don't know either, but these were in her phone. Now this completes all the images of the spacecraft. Now we're going to look at the humanoid extraterrestrials that were in the plant. Now remember, these extraterrestrial had some type of cloaking device, and you could not see them with the naked eye. You could only see them with the digital night vision on her phone. And they didn't turn out clear, and I would imagine it's because of the cloaking device. So we're going to take a look at this one. There's one here, and here, and one here, and then it looks like two are talking. Then when I enlarge it, you're going to see there's a child standing right here, or a younger person, or younger ET, and he's handing this other extraterrestrial something, but I wasn't able to clean it up well enough to see exactly what it was. Here's that child, and then here's these two extraterrestrials talking. Now this part of the plant is where they kept the oxygen bottles here, and they were looking at these oxygen bottles for some reason, I guess curious of what they were and what was in them. There's one right here, and there's actually a larger one standing here, but I could not get this picture. I tried everything I could. I could not get this picture any clearer than what it is. Okay, here's one of the extraterrestrials. He's on top of a building, and now I'm going to enlarge it. And you can see him right here. And no, these aren't workers in the plant. And then our last image is going to be one that when she was taking pictures of the pipe racks, this one was in the pipe rack. This right here is from her phone. I don't know what this is, but this isn't part of the picture that she took. Okay, this completes the images of these humanoid extraterrestrials, and the story doesn't stop here. Now in this new location that she's at, they have followed her over there, and we're going to take a look at those images. This is one of the areas that she's working at this time, and occasionally she'll stop and just take random pictures of the sky using her night vision. And this night she captured this craft here, and this craft is really cool looking. So I'm going to bring it in closer. Now because of the distance, I really couldn't get a really clear image of it. But if you look right here, it looks like some type of bay doors open, like on the craft that was hovering above the plant. Of course, there are two different types of craft here. And I don't know for sure because of the distance if this is the bay door, but this is really a cool looking craft. And yes, they are observing her and following her around. In fact, I've even got some pictures of them physically being on the property observing her, but you can only see them with night vision, and that will be in the next video. And hopefully I'll have Catherine in to talk about those images. Okay guys, thanks for watching, and I do need your support for my channel by subscribing. This is Tony with Earth Files Earth History, signing off.